Good evening to everyone watching in IMAX theaters around the country. Let's get those good vibrations going. Let's hear it for the Beach Boys. I have been a Beach Boys fan for as long as I can remember. Such a fan that my favorite song is from side 2 of the Beach Boys today. It's called Please Let Me Wonder. There's a deep cut for you. There you go. All right, we got some fans here. So we want to make sure you know and everyone knows that after you see this movie tonight, the Beach Boys will drop on Disney Plus this coming Friday, May 24th. So after tonight's screening, you go on social media and you spread the word how much you are going to love this movie, because I can tell you, because I've seen it myself, and vouch for it, and tell everyone to see it on Disney Plus starting this Friday. So before we get started with the evening, we want to give a big shout out, big thank you, and acknowledge the producing teams that made this amazing feature documentary about the Beach Boys possible. Starting with, from White Horse Pictures, producers Nicholas Farrell and Gene Alcadesta, and executive producers Nigel Sinclair and Cassie Hoffman. Kenny Marshall. Let's give it up for Allie Parker and executive producer Tony Rosenthal. Company. Big thanks to producer Irving Azov and executive producers Jimmy Edwards, Beth Collins, Susan Jacob. Also, executive producers Glenn Zipper and Ben Murphy, and writer and executive producer Mark Monroe. So without further ado, let's get this conversation fielding at citations by welcoming to the front of the TCL Chinese Theater, executive producer and director Tom Sidney. Please welcome this guy is the legend, director and producer Frank Marshall. And ladies and gentlemen, all rise and give it up from the Beach Boys, Al Jardine. And stay standing and give it up for the Beach Boys, Let's Go! Okay, so first I'm going to start with you guys. Tom, really,
We're sitting down.
we are sitting down. That's what the chairs are for, Frank. So I want to start with, after 2 years after Serpent's Park, like, why was now the time to do a fresh take on the beach on their legacy here, Tom?
Well, I think, now's the time, because I've done in the process with this film especially, that this music is timeless, and it welcomes a new generation, and with this film, collaborating with this team and Frank, this opportunity to dig deep in the vaults, and give music and images of the band. It's an amazing moment, because we're able to touch fans and tap into new audience.
The amazing thing about the film is that even for someone who knows a lot about Beach Boys, has read so much and seen so much, how fresh it is. So Frank, I'd love to hear what informed your approach with how you were going to frame this film.
Well, I grew up in a musical family just about 20 miles south of Hawthorne in Newport Beach, and thanks, Mom. And I grew up on their music, but I didn't grow up on their music to begin with. I was a surfer, I played guitars in a band, but all the surfing music was instrumental. And then it was a very small, narrow thing with adventures and particularly on the Deltones. And then along came these guys with lyrics and incredible harmony. age. And I've been a Beach Boys fan since then, and I kind of wanted to find out why their band worked and mine didn't.
Well, Al, you know, when I was watching the film, and like it, I was struck by how profound and poignant your discussions were about the history of the group, your place in that history. But when you were doing this conversation, Al, when you were talking about the time of the group, like what were some of the fresh memories that came back to the fore? Like things you haven't thought about in a long time that you got to talk about for the making of this film?
Well, I'm going to pretend I understood what you just asked. But my fondest memories in the film, is that what you're saying? Yeah, but we're actually, thanks to Frank putting it in the film, was the day that we decided that we needed to play some instruments. Because none of us really played anything. We were good songwriters. Came up with an idea, then I suppose came up with the idea for a song about surfing. But we didn't have any way to express that other than acapella with Brian on the piano. So I said, guys, we can audition for my mother. Perhaps she might finance our instruments for us. And so Mike and the guys went over to the house. We sat up, didn't have enough furniture in the house for all of us, so we all sat around on the floor, sang Their Hearts Were Full of Spring, and a little song called Surfing, which is, boys, I love your music, and I'll give you the money for your instruments, and the rest is history. Thanks, Mom. Oh, by the way, it's her birthday today.
Well, you know, here we are in 2024. The Beach Boys are as popular, if not more popular than they ever were. What is it about the music of the Beach Boys that it's not just still relevant, but it still continues to inspire new generations of music lovers?
Well, I think it's the fact that there's a lot of love in those harmonies. Our group started as a family. I grew up in a home with a grand piano organ in our heart. My mom would wake us up to go to school to opera music. That was rough. But anyway, we had Christmas parties, New Year's parties, birthday parties, Thanksgiving, and every time we got together as family, and on the Wilsons, my mom was one of the 8 kids. Murray Wilson and my mom, Emily Lee Wilson, were brother and sister. So we had many nephews, cousins, and aunts and uncles, and grandparents and all that. And we'd all get together. It was all about music, harmonizing together. What I learned at a very early age, there could be dynamics that weren't so positive within certain individuals in the family. And that happens with lots of families. But when we got together and sang and harmonized, all that division went out the window. So I think that's a life lesson, and I think that this day and age, good vibrations and fun, and don't worry, baby, and wouldn't it be nice, are all incredibly relevant because of the state of the world and the challenges we all face, whether we're doing well or not doing so well, we all face challenges. And I think it's great that the Beach Boys music still thrives and survives and is alive to this day.
100%. Let's not forget California Girls. So Tom, I would love to do with you guys going through the archives, looking back on this. I thought I'd seen it all. I'm watching this film going like, how did you find this stuff?
Oh, we have a great team. A lot of them are here tonight. Thank you, everybody who worked on the movie. Yeah, it's like a little treasure hunt, documentary filmmaking. When you go into the archives, you open that chest and you hope you find a gold balloon. But what was really special on this one was we had all the families were looking in their closets and under the bed, and they found some shoeboxes with 8mm home
blew you away? What totally knocked your socks off when you saw some of the footage that you were going to include here tonight?
I think some of the early Super 8 footage of Dennis and as a surfer, and what really blew me away was spending time with Iconic and going through the vault early in the project and just seeing the vast amount of material that was there.
Yeah, I think the early stuff, you really see the fun, that everybody had. I mean, when you see them on stage and they're teenagers and they're having a ball, and you can really see it. And I think that is one of the anchors that kept this group together. But again, like Mike said, it's the blending, it's the family thing. But their music makes you happy, and that's what you see.
You know, one of my favorite concerts that you guys did was on the Tennis Show in '64, because with all the girls screaming, the harmonies never missed a beat. The musicianship just came right through. So Al, I'm gonna try to word this question easily. Because time changes how you see things, is there something that you're more proud of now because more time has passed since like the '60s stuff?
Yeah, I reflect on the learning harmonies with Brian Wilson, and then as time goes on, I realized how extraordinary that was. He used to give us our parts on the right hand, the 4 fingers in his right hand. And we had to memorize these wonderful parts. So we just took it for granted that this was normal. And we were learning songs that were so complex. My favorite was that song by the four freshmen called Their Hearts Are Full of Spring. I mentioned that earlier. But then it just kept going and going like a wave. We just kept learning more and more as we went along. But Brian never stopped creating these wonderful images for us. And it was such a joy to sing. And then to repeat singing it over all these years, to be able to continue to sing the same harmonies again, it's always rewarding. Yeah.
So Lauren, I absolutely give up. So throughout the catalog of the Beach Boys, like I really love Wild Honey, 2020 Holland Surfs Up. But my introduction to the Beach Boys, because I was born in '68, came with Endless Summer, which you talk about here. So, like, just when that album came out, like, what was that like? Because by that point, the whole generation had discovered the Beach Boys, just like they're discovering them now.
Well, you were 8 years old when it came out, right? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Endless Summer, 50-year anniversary is this year, and we titled our tour Endless Summer Gold. And we do so many of those songs in that album in our concerts. And what I was talking about is the harmonies, four freshman harmonies. The Warmth of the Sun, the similar harmonies were on The Warmth of the Sun in 1963 in November. We wrote this, Brian and I went over to his house and we wrote the song that night. I came up with the words, he did the melody, and we were on the harmonies. We got everybody together on January 1, but the extraordinary thing about that song is that in the wee hours of the morning when we finished the song, we went to bed. And in the morning we were awakened to the news that President Kennedy had been taken to the hospital in Dallas. And needless to say, when we didn't record that song on January 1, 1964, it was surcharged with a tremendous amount of emotion in addition to the harmony. And so it's amazing to know that the song was created in the wee hours of the morning before that event. And we didn't change the words or anything. It was about losing, you were in love, but the other person didn't feel the same anymore, so it never happened. But you have a memory of having had that euphoria. you know, it's, how do you not sing something with charged with emotion and love and stuff when something like that happens? So we took our life experiences, whether it was going to the beach or driving a hot car like Dennis had a 401, right? And we took a tape recorder out of the extension cord to the curb, and he burned rubber down the street in Hollywood, California, much to the chagrin of the neighbors. But that's on the recording. So it was a lot of in advertising called hiding reality. So we took what we love, the beautiful environment of California, and the beautiful girls too.
Well, that 409, she's so fine. So, Frank, when I first moved out here in 1991, I said to my friend, take me to Paradise Cove. But swear to God, you know why? I know. So, what did it mean for you to film there?
Well, my dream, as I got to know the guys, was how do I end the film? And I had thought the fitting way would to be getting them all back together again. And where would that be? And of course, Paradise Cove is where the very first album cover was shot. And I thought, that's a good idea. Let's see if we can pull that off. And sure enough, as I say, a dream come true. My good friend, Jimmy Buffett and I used to have cheeseburgers down on the beach there at Paradise Cove. And we used to talk about the Beach Boys, and there's a sign that says, "This marks the spot." And it has a picture of that first album with the cliffs in the background. And I thought, well, let's see if we can get them together there. And sure enough, in kind of a cosmic closure, 4 days after Jimmy took his last wave, we had a reunion of all of the Beach Boys in that very spot where we used to eat cheeseburgers. It was amazing.
Is there something you would like to?
And so I thought, since that was a special day, and we reunited, and it was a magical day because they laughed and they hugged and they cried and told stories, they sang, and we got them all back together. Wouldn't it be great to do that tonight? So ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause for the guy that started it all, Brian Wilson. I think we should also say that we've got 3 other Beach Boys here. David Marks. David Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the Beach Boys Rock are Disney Plus this Friday. Big thanks to Disney and to IMAX for